Okay, here's the entirety of 1.6 in 8 minutes or less. First up is TC. They added classes. Some of them like Melee are really good, but some of them like Backliner are absolutely terrible. Our first Melee is Armstrong style. Here's a standard M1, and you can also input buttons before hitting to produce different combos. RER shoots out fire, EER does a barrage attack, and then RREE is a headbutt. Next up is SOS Delphine, or this is the end. The M1 combo is pretty terrible, but the E ability shoots this crazy Razor Ball that can do around 300 total damage with a huge radius. Its cooldown is like 30 seconds though. Next is Small Sword. You literally just become the mini P.E.K.K.A from Clash Royale. It does 65 damage and the enemies drop Elixir when they die, which is pretty neat. Next is the Vinland Daggers. It's just a simple version of the Rogue Kit from Project Smash. You got one attack that does bleed and a cool M1 combo. Next is Psyhop. Here's a standard M1 combo. And it's got 2 abilities listed, but if you hold down the ability key, it does a different thing, so technically 4. First is Home Run. It's pretty good. Second is Spiral, which to be honest is pretty terrible at first, but if you hold shift lock, you can control your movement, which actually makes it pretty good. If you hold down R, you would do this, which is really busted and extremely cool looking. And if you hold down E, you just pull out an Uzi and just light up whatever is in front of you for around 120 damage. Onto the ranged weapons, we got Etymology, this silicon Illuminati gun. It has an overheat function similar to Lovestruck, except no abilities because they ran out of budget, I guess. Anyway, from 0 to overheat, it does around 200 damage, and cools down in like 2 seconds, which is kind of broken, but okay. Next is Honey Bun, my favorite item to throw at the homeless. Its impact damage kind of sucks, but the burn is insane. Kind of like real life. Next is Lethal Shotgun, another Lethal Company weapon. You hold on left click to shoot, and you do the scan thing, and then do a ton of damage on release. It has aimbot, but the aiming is kind of weird. Next up is a Copper Wired Wrapped Rock. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, it does 30 damage. I mean, it's literally a rock, what did you expect? Next is Macro Wave. You basically just blast your enemy with intense radiation. It does 30 damage if you land all of it, and it ragdolls. Onto the third slot. The first weapon is Head Bomb. Just kill an enemy, and press E to strap a C4 to their cranium, and explode everyone in a 40 stud radius. Next is Holy Mantle. This is pretty cool. It just gives you a rechargeable shield labeled by the cross next to your HP. It negates your first hit, and it gives you a few iframes after. Bomb in America users are seething right now. Next up is Pibble. Basically just a worse Fumo, but instead of a plush, it's a silly looking dog. It only heals 0.5 health instead of 1 and has a longer cooldown. Why? I guess JPX hates this dog in particular, I don't know. So, parkour got removed, and I assume it's been replaced with this runner's glove. I mean, it's definitely cooler looking and more balanced, so, you can vault and long jump with it too. Next is Smoke Grenade, which, dude, it's a smoke grenade, what do you think it does? After that is Super Jump Punch, which sends whatever you're aiming at into the stratosphere. But the hitbox is pretty small, so don't rely on this aggressively. Now, for the last, and my favorite, third item is the one you got from Perfect Running Clef Prime. It works similar to Heart to Heart, though it takes a lot longer to perform and does a full 100 damage. Honestly, I love this item the most just because it's so humiliating for whoever you're slamming, and the audio is also kind of funny. Also, a few weapons got reworks. First up is Keyblade. Here's a standard M1, which does 120 damage. I don't think this is fair, but whatever. Its E ability is called Sonic Rave, and its gimmick is that it's reusable if you can hit it. It can almost stun lock and kills enemies in 3 to 4 hits, so basically it's also busted. Poser's Katana also got reworked with new animations. Here's the new M1 combo. I'd say it's worse than the original, but it's not too different. Slash Step is pretty much the same, and now it has a counter move. Real Knife also had a huge rework. First off, when hitting people, it actually has the damage indicators from Undertale. It also runs on a leveling system, which makes you do more damage per hit every level, but it caps at level 20. True Love, the 5 kill streak upgrade, is still in the game, and just gives you more slashes along with a slower and deeper pitch of the bass music that the Real Knife gives. Once you reach level 20 though, you get a new ability called Erase. Erase is pretty much just a counter move. You'll block and emit a glowing heart. If the enemy hits you during this, you'll teleport behind them and do 47 damage. Fumo didn't really get reworked, but it heals for 1.3 health instead of 1, and there are different plushies each time you equip them. Onto special weapons. First up is Heavy Sword. This is an upgrade you get after you get 5 kills with Small Sword. It's an upgrade damage-wise to the Small Sword, but it also makes you slower. Obviously a reference to the P.E.K.K.A. Next is Justita. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway, it's pretty much a reskin of Twilight. I mean, the abilities do the same exact thing. Also, all Lobotomy Corporation weapons now have this cool damage effect whenever you hit something. You'll see this with Red Mist, Twilight, Decapo, Smile, this weapon, and a few others. Next is this Joy Mutant. I don't really know how you'd get this normally, but he has a few abilities. Overall, they're not really that good. Next, though, is Lucky Arrow, which is just normal arrow, but it has a 100% chance of giving you a stand. Something that's really cool that was also added is an official second trumpet when Decapo reaches movement 4, complete with an original soundtrack and UI along with the original music that played for each Decapo movement. Second trumpet used to be when one bird died in third trumpet if I remember correctly, but I assume that's changed. Before we talk about kits and VIP weapons, let's move on to lobbies and maps real quick. The first lobby is Ritual Temple. This is a reference to Cult of the Lamb, and if you interact with this book, it summons the maps, which is pretty cool. Next is Bedroom, which is a bedroom filled with references from IA or other games. Another new lobby is Fighting, which is just the pre-game lobby from the Roblox game Fighting. After that is IA Game Launcher, which is just this. I mean, it's cool, but you can't see other people in it, so. And our final lobby is Sumotori Dreams, which is pretty barren. On to maps. First, Casino got re-added. Our first real new map is Lakeside Cabin, made for MU. It's pretty cool and comes with Dark Fog. Next is Dual Screen, which is literally just a Nintendo DS. Next up is Pool Rooms, obviously a reference to the pool rooms in the back rooms. It's pretty complex, but it looks nice. Also, the water has this weird transparent but like mirror-y effect. Next is Condemned Town. It's just a low-quality town with these health bottles laying around. They act as health packs and heal you if you step on one. Afterward is Straightened Castle, which is just, well, a giant castle. It's pretty cool. On to the VIP weapons. Let's start with APC Launcher. It's exactly what you think it is. Next is Kara's Knife, which is just the real knife, but the leveling doesn't cap at 20. So you can one-shot people if you get a high enough level. It also gives you more slashes, indetermination slashes for each level, so you can do stuff like this. Next up is the Fish button, which is a button that takes 0 damage to use and acts like the button on April Fools, with a fish appearing on your screen. Except this time it doesn't just kill you and explodes the whole lobby. Next, which I'm sure nobody cares about, is Rigged and Textured Blunder Brick. This is just a gag at its in-game counterpart, Unrigged and Untextured Blunder Brick. This one can be placed infinitely, so do with that what you will. Next is Saucy Beverage, which is just a scrumptious beverage from the April Fool's update. Yes, it still lags the game. Second to last is Men on a Leash, which does this. Yeah, also you can fly with it. Our final VIP item is the Treehouse. It's literally the entire treehouse in Survival of the Killer. You thought the bridge was too much? This thing's hitbox is literally an entire map's worth. Also, the stat editor was added. You can change you or another player's health, walk speed, and everything else. There's also a lot of other things you can do with it shown on screen, including a Smile remix and different trumpet UIs. Now, explaining all the new kits would take forever, but here's a few ones I find interesting. Mr. Shakedown just makes you an absolute tank with increased damage, but all you have is Built Different, Stomp, and a Sprint attack. Triple Aerial gives you 3 assailants, which lets you make a ton of combos that can be as silly or as complex as you want. And finally, the kit Literally Me got a damage reduction, however, now it has a suppressed pistol, which is a huge buff.